Every chef from the restaurant world or traditional media has their signature dish that placed them on the map. Like Gordon and the Wellington, Massimo and the Oops lemon tart, TK and the pearl oyster, A-Cats and the helium sugar balloon, Robuchon's mash, Peaks Berlingot, Paul Bocuse, and pretty much everything he makes. Finally, Martha Stewart and Inside. If you consume as much cooking YouTube as I do, you'll notice that it works the same way with famous foodtubers. One particular dish usually takes them from growing a lot to straight up Mr. Beasting. Today we're going to take a look at some of my favorite food creators and remake their algorithmically blessed, glorious recipes. The first recipe we're tackling is definitely going to be Papa's Popeyes chicken sandwich. When the video first came out, it was almost as insane as the sandwich line. Everybody going crazy over how good the concept, quality, and the recipe looked, solidifying but better as one of the most iconic series on YouTube. Personally, I think this was a historic turning point for cooking YouTube, where Joshua got everyone interested and inspired to cook at home what most people crave, while giving it more depth and better educating the viewers. Well, enough meat writing for now. The first great thing about this video is that the bun for the sandwich needs to be the burger bun recipe. So following one recipe video requires you to watch another video, which is the mark of a great YouTuber. Anyways, before we continue, you should watch my YouTubers cookbook review video first. To get started with the dough, we're gonna make a Japanese milk paste. Based on my years of bread making experience, I know that this paste is gonna improve moisture retention, enhance fluffiness, and give a better dough structure. We'll mix 2 tablespoons of water, 4 tablespoons of milk, and 2 tablespoons of flour. Turn on medium heat and whisk it pretty vigorously until it becomes like a gel. This thing dries up really quickly, so we're going to put it in a container and wrap it with plastic foil. We'll set aside for now, getting started on our wet ingredients. Half a cup of my roommate's milk, we're going to microwave it for 40 seconds to get it at least up to room temp, because we got to get rid of the cold environment to bloom a whole tablespoon of yeast. Set that aside for 15, we're going to work on the dry ingredients now. I never do this because it's called all-purpose for a reason, but I actually got bread flour for this video because I feel like these are the YouTubers that inspired me growing up, so I should take their recipes more seriously. That's a total of 2.5 cups of bread flour, which is 320 grams, a teaspoon of sea salt, and 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. In another container, we'll crack in 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. The final element of the dough is 3 tablespoons of butter. So supposedly, the sequence of the event is mixing the yeast and the flour, then the paste, egg, and finally the butter. But it takes such a long time to mix everything, especially the butter, because you have to like rub it into the dough. So I'm just gonna go take everything and rub it on the couch. After everything combines, we'll just put it on a work surface, fold it a couple times to give it some tension, and then finally shape it and roll it into a smooth ball. Taking the same bowl as before, we'll grease some oil all over. It was already pretty oily from the butter. And finally cover it with a wet towel. I don't feel like wetting a towel, so I'll just put a damp paper towel and close the lid. After an hour or two, it should be double in size. Not really in my case, but I can't really wait anymore. I have stuff to do because I have a vibrant social life.
No, you don't. You are a loser.
The entire piece of dough should be divided into balls around 100 grams. I really recommend measuring because it's really difficult to bake even buns. The recipe is for 8 buns exactly. What we're doing here is just folding it and pulling on the surface to give it tension, which is our last stretch of the gluten. We're resting it one last time. I greased up some plastic foil to cover it very loosely, allowing some room for growth. And in an hour and a half, the buns should get big and juicy like this. With the oven preheated to 375, we're gonna egg wash it with a splash of milk and an egg. Put it in the oven for 16 to 18 or whenever it's like brown like this. I'm just rubbing some butter on there to make it look shinier, and we'll let it rest for at least 30 minutes. Almost forgot for a sec, this is a chicken recipe. You know, I understand the egg shortage because of the chicken flu, but what is up with all the grocery stores in lower Manhattan being out of buttermilk? Is there like a butter flu or something? Whatever, I just mixed yogurt, sour cream, and milk till it's buttermilk consistency. The lactic acid is what we need to tenderize meat, so probably whatever dairy product will work. And for the seasoning blend, it's just garlic, smoked paprika, salt, pepper, like stuff like that. I don't want to give away everything. We should support Papa's recipe website, which I'll link in the description. We'll lay in our chicken thighs, not really radioactive because, you know, I was at Whole Foods and picked them up. We'll put it in the fridge for 2 to 72 hours. For the flour dredge, it's going to be similar as before with the addition of MSG, and if you want it spicy, a teaspoon of cayenne. We'll take out the chicken thigh, shake it really well like the hater's gonna hey. Covering the seasoned dredge, we're gonna press it all the way into the chicken, like use a little bit of force but don't destroy it. And we're gonna shake off the flour like the player's gonna play. but most likely once you get a golden brown color, it's done. Also, chicken thighs are very forgiving. If you overcook it a little bit, it's still gonna be pretty juicy. The sauce that goes on top is pretty much just the spicy mayo with hot sauce, paprika, and lemon juice. Okay, time to assemble. Surprisingly, nothing have went wrong with all the elements of the sandwich. This is the most exciting part. I feel like I've been cooking all day and I'm so hungry right now. Just dry toasted the bun, we're gonna sauce it up. Not too much though, because the chicken needs to be the main character here. Some pickle slices, we're gonna close it with the top bun. Even though we already know it's gonna be fire, but let's give it a taste and rate it 1 through 10. 2019 Joshua Wiseman just never missed, bro. Elite recipe, 9.5 out of 10. I probably wouldn't make it again because the process is kind of exhausting. If you also find cooking high quality meals for yourself a little too tiring, let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Factor Meals. Factor sets you up for success. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more. You can also make sure you're making a sustainable choice. Factor offsets 100% of delivery emissions and sources 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices. As a lot of you know, besides making cooking videos, I'm currently doing a lot of studying. Some days can get quite busy. Factor can save me a lot of time, freeing me from a busy schedule and the stress of cooking. Most importantly, it brings complex meals to keep my diet balanced without overloading my fridge with extra ingredients I don't know what to do with. This way, my fridge can always be well stocked and I know exactly what I'm eating. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50canoe to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50canoe at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Chef Andy is from New Zealand and now lives in Australia, a decision made by him just to confuse the rest of us with his accent. I believe at this point every user on YouTube has seen his "Hey babe, what you want for dinner?" opening. I find his content super comforting. It's like having a professional chef friend cook you whatever you're craving at the time, and the way he integrates ASMR and his graceful movements in the kitchen keeps me engaged the whole time. Let me show you a clip real quick, you see what I mean. You see what I mean? He doesn't really talk, just letting the food speak for itself. But the dish he changed the internet forever with is definitely the chicken biryani video. It has 166 million views. I think that's 32 times the population of his home country. Might be the most viewed cooking video of all time, but I don't feel like fact checking because we gotta start making this dish. I think I'll stop giving measurements here. If you want to see it, we should support his website and video down below. The first ingredient is crispy onion. We're using 3 red onions because it's the most pungent. We'll slice them all. Obviously, the thinner, the easier and quicker to fry. As you remember, we've done this once before. I forgot what temperature I fried the onions at, so I'm just gonna go with 350 because that seems like the standard for everything. Is this normal, chat? Let me know in the comments. Is this supposed to be like bubbling up like that? I really hope it doesn't spill. Oh. Anyways, I turned down the heat and it went back to normal. I put a little bit more in it, it came up, and then it went down again. I repeated that for a couple times and now they're all peacefully frying up. Now moving on to the kitchen, there are so many ingredients that goes into the marinade, it's crazy. I don't think I've ever used this many spices for a single dish. That's yogurt, kashmiri, turmeric, garam masala, We'll let it marinate for at least 4 hours, ideally overnight. It is the next day. We're gonna wash 2.2 pounds of basmati rice and soak it in water for at least 40 minutes. Then in a large pot of water, we're gonna impose flavor with green chili, cardamom pods, cinnamon, and cumin. And I'll be watching the pot to see if it actually does boil. Pour in our drained, soaked rice and simmer for 6 minutes. We don't want to completely cook it. Once it's just a little bit hard in the center, we can drain it again. For the marinade of the chicken, we're just gonna take it out, put it in a cold pot with some green chili. Turn it on the highest heat, close the lid, and let it fry up for 8 minutes. Turning it halfway through, it smells really good. Now take out half the chicken, the other half for the assembly. We'll do a layer of rice, a layer of chicken. I messed this step up. I did another layer of rice by accident. Supposedly by the second layer, we should be doing half the crispy onion, mint, and cilantro, and another layer of rice. Mint, onion, cilantro. Going above and beyond here, warm milk soaked saffron. I guess I'm really going insane for this video. And we're supposed to make a dough and wrap it around the lid or something. I don't really feel like that's necessary because my lid is heavy. As I said it before, it seems a little unnecessary, like when you take off your pants to fart, except this pan is actually farting. So I devised this plug to plug it up. After being plugged and baked in the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes, it is ready to be served up. This dish is from the Hyderabad region of India. When we made the dish for the following instruction video, it was my first time having any type of biryani because I'm an uncultured swine like that. But don't you think this looks pretty fire? If you're from India, let me know if you're proud of me, because when I make biryani, you better hide your baddie. Hee hee. One of my favorite part of Indian cuisine is how many components are going on in a single dish. The number of ingredients I've used in this dish is probably more than what I usually do in a week. Chicken, onion, rice, herb, all baked into one, complementing each other without interfering. Another 9.5 for the recipe. I feel very honored to be able to make this. Next up, coming onto the line, the man that needs no introduction, cultural icon, proud addict of monosodium glutamate, king of fried rice, the lover boy of Asian aunties, the #1 enemy of Jamie Oliver.
My name is Uncle Roger.
The dish we're doing today is the Jamie Oliver one, even though in the Uncle Roger initial trilogy, this is the least viewed one. I mean, it's still 30 million. It's more meaningful than the other two because I think it's the funniest one and the most amount of memes came out of this one.
Olive oil is like white people oil. You hear sizzling, I hear my ancestors crying. Putting jam in rice. This is disgusting. Who?
All jokes aside, honestly, I think it looks pretty good, bro. The techniques might be unconventional. The ingredients are all really nice. It doesn't deserve this hate, so let's try it out. Anyways, we're gonna start by chopping a bunch of spring onion, extra virgin olive oil into a hot non-stick, and start sizzling the green onion. I know we just played it, but it gets me every time, so let's hear it again.
You hear sizzling, I hear my ancestors crying.
We'll also add a little bit of garlic to stir fry that in. Jamie used packet rice, I don't have that, so equally as wrong, I'm gonna use freshly made rice from a Ziploc bag. This also imitates the wetness from him constantly adding water. We'll make a little space in the center to crack in our egg, break it up, and slowly work it into the rest. Now, very important, here we have chili pepper jam in a glass jar. What Uncle Roger said in the video is true. I've never seen authentic Asian ingredients that come in a glass jar. I wonder why that is. Doesn't it make it store better? It smells really good when you stir fry the chili jam. Okay, this is the part even I have trouble getting behind, is the crumbling up of a soft tofu into the rice. After mixing around the pan, it's just gonna become like a bunch of mush. I feel like whenever I see tofu in stir fries at Asian restaurants, they always like coat in the batter and fry it first. The final step is coating the bowl with extra virgin olive oil again. I don't know why. Fill and pack down the bowl and flip it out onto a plate. Okay, to be honest, this does look pretty disgusting, but only because of the tofu. Before we did the crumbling, it completely looked normal. And it's a healthy ingredient, you know? We gotta keep an open mind here. Let's give it a taste and rate it 1 through 10. We don't have to mention authenticity here, it's pretty much out of the window. But in terms of taste, it's kind of good, man. What Jamie Oliver's doing here is bringing culture into his relatively inexperienced culinary audience. And I think he did a good job. And back to the video. I mean, Weejo. Uncle Roger's channel's rise was so unprecedented. His first video in this format gained 12 million views in just 2 weeks. And all the subsequent ones went viral as well. Just think about it. He started reacting to cooking videos 4 years ago. So 10 million in 4 years, never done before. Pass all the competition, man. PewDiePie is next. Now he got his own Hulu special making more people laugh. I'm very interested to see where his journey takes him, as he's a true creative that inspires me deeply. Well, annyeong doobies, you better not yuck my yum cause it's Tina time. Doobie aka Tina Choy revolutionized cooking shorts by incorporating excellent storytelling into the video. You might know her from her infamous chili oil shin ramen.
Here the spices sizzle like this. Mix it all up and then look at the color on that chili oil. Honestly, not bad.
Well, definitely not bad. Fun fact, I went to school with Doobie but our lives were too different to be in the same friend group. I was way too into drinking and she was a responsible member of society. Plus, she was a few years ahead of me. I covered our minor interaction in the membership video titled My Dumbass Backstory. If you're interested in watching it and future vlogs and commentary video, become a member today. The dish we're talking about today is the video that made her a trending topic on the internet, where she talked about having friends with money. Both are pretty difficult things.
The biggest privilege my rich friends have is not Chanel bags, Rolexes, and Maseratis, but options.
This looks like a tomato-based Japanese curry. I'm not gonna get that plum thing because it's too sour.
Money definitely puts you ahead of the starting line. It's like doping and gives unfair advantage. But if you're not going to practice and put in the effort you need to win the race and banking on doping to win yourself a gold medal, and even if then, is it worth the win?
Yes, but in all seriousness bro, I totally see where she's coming from. It's a piece of personal insight into life she's sharing with us. I don't really understand the negative comments because it's not like she's selling us a course or something. I understand some people may not agree with it, but it's a really nice message paired with an incredible looking dish, so we're gonna recreate it. She used these really thin beef slices, but I can't find it anywhere. I think it's the cut for a Philly cheesesteak. So I'm gonna slice up as thinly as I can, which is not that thin, a steak in my freezer, and we're ready to move to the stove. So as usual, I'm very concerned about the situation with the meat. I never said this, but I think my meat is too thick. I think we should just mix it in and then stew it for a little bit longer. For the base of the curry, we're gonna go with a whole can of tomato and half a block of the curry powder. We probably should add a little bit of water too to thin it out. Bringing it to a simmer, we're gonna stew it for 20 minutes. Also, I love how this pan is just the perfect size for this curry. As a final step, we're gonna mix in a quarter cup of heavy cream and season it with salt and pepper to your likings. And we're pretty much done. But why is my color so much more red than the original one? It kind of looks like buttered chicken, and I don't feel like making a whole new pot of rice, so I'm just gonna use the chicken biryani rice. I should have added a little more water to make it less concentrated. It's very intense and flavorful, amplified by the chicken biryani, of course. 8.8 out of 10. I talk about Babish a lot on this channel, so I'm not going to keep repeating the same information, but I do want to mention that his biggest achievement in life is making it to a casually explained video.
Run out of money. That's pretty much it. Now it's recipe books for Christmas and forearm tattoos until the day you die.
If I ever get mentioned by Casually Explained, bro, I think I'm ready to face or boob reveal and retire. So the reason why I put tomatoes on fire instead of using the boiling method to remove the skin is not because I have the innate desire to burn things. Because who has time to wait for water to boil, you know? This is just way quicker. I wouldn't be pulling the skin back if I wasn't on camera. What we're making today is the most viral dish on his channel, the ratatouille from Ratatouille. What's going on here? To make the vegetable sauce base, in the video he like peeled the tomatoes with the water method, charred the pepper, steamed them under a foil and peeled it, and like blended everything in the Vitamix and stuff. That seems like a lot of work I don't want to do, so I'm just gonna chop him up and roast it in the oven. Now Andrew aka Babish is one of the most OG cooking YouTubers, first known for bringing movie and anime dishes into life. It was very revolutionary at the time because before Babish, cooking YouTube is quite boring. He came in like a breath of fresh air, incorporating fun elements into cooking videos. This innovative idea combined with his skill really took his brand to the next level. I just roasted bell pepper, tomato, onion, garlic in the oven for about 20 minutes. Now we're just gonna blend it into a sauce with some parsley and water. Not too much water though, because you know there's a lot of moisture in these vegetables. Now to achieve the effect of the layered vegetables, we're gonna slice a lot. Well, I'm gonna cheat by using a mandolin. You wanna go as thin as possible, like this thin. For the tomato, I can't really cheat anymore, so I'll just remove the skin with a paper towel and slice it with a knife. Assembly time. The sauce we made earlier is going to be on the bottom. Like in the movie, we're going to go one vegetable at a time, stacking different colors on top of each other, sort of like off-centered, and we'll do that until we completely fill out this pan. It's finally done. We're gonna top with some olive oil, salt, pepper to season, put on a lid, and bake at 350 for 30 minutes. I don't think I've ever held this much vegetable in my hand in my life. Now into a ring cutter, I'm gonna stuff the bottom and place on top a nice arrangement of vegetable circles. What's up with the leaking, yo? You know what, it's not worth the waste of paper towel. I'll just put a bunch of sauce around it. And here's another thing. In the movie, Remy put a single chive on top as garnish. It's cute and all, but I don't want to spend $3 for a bunch of chive just to use one tiny thing. To keep it within the same family of plants, I'm gonna use one single scallion. Anyways, let's give it a taste and rate it 1 through 10. The best part about this dish is how it looks. With the baking into the sauce halfway covered, it's really hard to season all of the vegetables, so the sauce is amazing. It's like a pepper tomato soup. But the rest of the ratatouille kind of just like the baked vegetables I eat on a daily basis. Regardless, I really enjoyed making it. I think the process is very family friendly. Like you can make it with a friend or like your parents or something, just to spend time with people. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed making this video way more than I expected. There are so many more YouTubers that I love and I want to cover. So let's turn this into a reoccurring series. Just like these chefs and their dishes, you never know when the work that you do changes your life forever. In a crazy world we live in today, things can happen overnight that takes you on an adventurous journey. What I learned from these YouTubers is that I should never chase after views, but rather excellence and passion. Their skills and effort impressed the internet, but most importantly, the love for their craft granted them the success that they truly deserve. I really hope my love for food never fades away, and I wish the same for the rest of you. Alright,